Alright, Scum and Villainy. GM prep. Let's do this thing. So, to start off with, the postmortem for the last session is I felt really good about how everything went. It was exciting. The players were super engaged, and they really felt like they got out by the skin of their teeth. Part of that was the dice. Part of that was pacing. Like they were pushed to the limit by the end of that. And I don't think that needs to be the goal in every mission, but I think here it was very effective. Thinking mechanically about what contributed to that, I realized after I was done that I didn't do any clocks on this mission. And theoretically, I should have at least done a clock for the way creatures. Had them advancing up a clock to the point where they're able to attack, and have that be the rising tension that's mechanically being tracked, so that they know where they are. I think forgetting to do that made it feel to them like, well, they could get to us at any time. They're this close the whole time, and like, that was pretty reasonable, I think. But I think I should have done that, and then just mechanically relied on the fact that they started in a desperate situation, and they moved to a risky situation, but I could have tracked it as, like, you know, an 8 clock, and everything that riled up the creatures while they're desperate, it adds 3. Everything that riles up the creatures while they're, while it's risky, adds 2, something like that. And I think that could have stayed more faithful to the mechanics of the game, but still had that tension. So that, I'll have to do that next time. Still, big success. I made a mistake with how damage is applied to the ship. The person who has who made the roll, who has the opportunity to resist, they get to choose where damage goes, not me. I say 3 damage, you put it where you want. So that's actually good, because I'm like, oh, well, I can't put it on the engines because then they won't be able to escape. So I have to do it on weapons, but they don't already care. Like, I felt like I was in an awkward position being the one to choose there, and it turns out the game rules figured this out for me. I'm just a dummy who didn't remember the rules. So that's good. I will make sure I do that next time, and next time it comes up, I will say, hey, I did this wrong last time. Let's do it differently next time. So let's see what's changed. What's happened in the universe with the completion of this job. So first off, Cult of the Seekers, they've done another job for them, so they're going to go up to +2. I think with the completion of this job, they're going to take a break from the crew. They're going to say they need time to let this new artifact do its thing, decrypting the data, quantum computers, you know, Google bytes of data or whatever. I will come up with some hopefully sufficient sounding reasons why, hey, we can't just do it now. I'm thinking something like, oh, there's so much data, like even with a quantum computer, it takes the calculation time from, you know, millions of years down to a few months, so we'll let you know. And that'll give the crew an opportunity to pursue other leads, to try out, to mingle with some other factions, see where their interests take them. I've been leading them by the nose with this little storyline for a while, and I want to kind of just turn them loose to see what they do from there. So, Cult of the Seekers is taking a break. That's tasking, Jesus Christ. They're taking a break. Church of the Sacred Flame, however, we are at -1 with them. They now know who the crew are. They were hired by, or Choss was hired by them to recover the artifact based on the information they received from Giles's interrogation at the hands of the 51st Legion. So Chos will have identified the crew to the Church of the Sacred Flame. So they are now made by the Church. I'm thinking they will probably send a threat to them, something, do this for us and we will not murder you all horribly, the kind of thing that they're probably not going to take them up on. It's not the sort of thing that players do in role-playing games. When told to do something by somebody they don't like, they tend to not do it. But we'll see. We'll see how they react. Like, will it scare them? Will they, will they shoot something back? I think they'll just have a message, a threatening message waiting for them after we handle entanglements, which I will roll now and figure out later as we go. Should probably have a die for that, but oh well. I don't think any other factions are affected. I think I should put Chos under, just have another heading for unaligned. And he's going to be in hot water with the Sacred Flame. They were not happy that he failed his mission. So either they are not going to hire him again, or if they do, it's one of those you don't get to screw up again and live sort of situations. All right, so we need to go over what happened. So yeah, so Pax sent a message to Alice, giving the location of the Seeker's hideout. So I think while the crew was out on the mission, Alice attacked the Seekers. And the Seekers will tell the crew about this at the payoff. And the Seekers got away. And I think Giles is hurt. And the Seekers will be, and that's the other reason the Seekers won't have a job for them immediately. They're not going to have a base. They're going to stay on the move. So what messages are we going to have? So I think Pax is going to get a message from Alice saying that his intel was good and that she wants the Seeker's new location. And I think I want to give Pax that message prior to the payoff. And maybe I can do both the messages prior to the payoff, because I want to do one from a threatening one from the Church of the Sacred Flame. So he'll get the message. Just so if he wants to say, take one of those trackers and try to slip it on to Layla or Giles. I think Layla and Giles will both be there, because Giles wants to inspect it and Layla is the representative. So I think that makes sense for both of them to be there, and that can show off that Giles was hurt and that there were stakes to that action. It's always important that the world, that the player characters be able to see their effect on the world whenever possible, and this is an easy way to do that. Your actions has consequences, what gives role-playing games excitement and meaning. So, yeah. And all of the crew will get a message from... Oh, I need to note that this is from Alice, so for my own thing. So I know what my notes mean. That's always important. So Sacred Flame's going to say they're going to be suitably threatening. Let's say it's one of those situations where they have sinned and but they can find redemption if only they will bring the artifact to and they will bring the artifact and Giles to the Sacred Flame. The Sacred Flame will allow them to live and may even reward them. Let's leave that as an undefined thing, where if they want to negotiate, they can, and then we'll see if that's a decent payoff or not. It will probably be a shitty payoff, because part of the payoff is, oh, we don't kill you, we don't come after you now. So, like, if they don't take the Sacred Flame up on this, and again, I don't think they will, but if they don't do it, then the Sacred Flame will be after them. They'll be out to get them. Giles and the... Or we kill you. Maybe reward. Yeah, I want to note that this is going to be before the payoff, so that Pax has that window to act if he wants to. So that's the payoff stuff. That's the faction stuff. Next I'll do entanglements. Alright, so got the entanglements up. Got an actual polyhedron here for propriety's sake. They're wanted level 1. That's their highest wanted level, so that's the chart we roll on here. 4. Reprisals. Okay. Enemy faction moves against yours. Pay them 1 credit per tier. Allow them to mess with you or fight back. If you have no faction with negative status, you avoid the entanglement for right now. Okay, so the obvious one to do here is the Church of the Sacred Flame. Alright, I'm going to walk this message right back. So after... and they're tier 4. They're actually pretty powerful. So that would cost them money. I will have to come back to that. So, entanglement. I gotta stop doing that thing. Jeez. Jesus. Did I get that right on the first try? My spelling's terrible. Alright, so this is Sacred Flame. There is a Sacred Flame character, if I can find the entry. Church of the... There's Stellar Flame. Jesus, I've been doing this wrong the whole time. Church of the Stellar Flame. Yes. Goosh. That's no good. So yeah, Church of the Stellar Flame. And there is a character, Battle Sister Diana. Her descriptors are battle-scarred, exosuited, unstoppable. Okay, so this is who is going to This is who is going to make their lives interesting for this next session. This is gonna okay. Here's what we're gonna do. This is going to be a mini adventure in and of itself, because I was thinking about how fast we play, how this is going to fit in to the playtime we have allotted for the evening where we're going to be playing next. And I don't see us getting to another job. But I was worried that if we don't do another job, there isn't going to be enough time. So this is going to be a little mini adventure. It's going to take that time. Perfect. And I'm playing by the rules. So. I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to play by the rules. I'm the GM. All right. So Battle Sister Diana. Sheesh. Yeah. My keyboarding has not improved, as you can all see. So what's she gonna do? So this is the big thing to figure out here. I want to have some ideas for jobs lined up in free play, but this is, I think I see this as being where the meat of the session goes. So let me have a thonk on that. All right, I've had my thinky time, and I think the way this is going to go is she's going to approach them outside of their ship. And she is going to... I need to be clear on what she's going to demand, because she's not just going to attack them. She's going to demand something first. The rules say pay equal to the tier rating. So she's going to demand payment. She's not just going to be demanding payment. She's going to demand a promise that they will not interfere. Non-interference, plus reparations. Or we should use it more an indulgence? Well, that's something you purchase. I'm trying to think of something religious. We'll say reparations for now, and if I think of something better, I will use that. But that's going to be the 4 cred. I think it's going to be non-negotiable. Like, because I know they're going to try to go. So I need to figure that out. How are they going to? What are their options there? And I think it's going to have to be like. I don't think it's going to be something they can talk their way out of, because that's going to be the first thing they're going to want to do. Or what I could do. Well, no, I'll just use the rules of the game. So they want to talk their way out of it. Fine. Your position's desperate, or your position's risky, and you're going to have 0 effects. So you're going to have to push and use all that stuff when they haven't done their downtime yet. That's what's going to make this scary. That's what's going to make this maybe kowtow here, and really going to make it something dangerous, is that this is happening before downtime actions. Because they're all stressed as hell. So it's like, well, do we want to fight back here? Or I think, yeah, because I'm hitting them where it hurts. Like, they're going to be riding high off this. They've just got 10 cred. So they can afford to pay it off. They all chip in 1, and this problem goes away for now. But yeah, and I think I like this better than, the church demanding that they do things for them. Yeah, this is just reparations and demanding that they not interfere anymore. I think that's good. So what were our 2 reprisals? So pay them 1 cred per tier, allow them to mess with you, or fight back. So mess with. What does that look like? So if they refuse to pay, but they also refuse to fight, what do they do? So the mess with option, I think they're going to take it out on the ship. I think they will deal 4 damage. Or no. Let's say they'll deal 3 damage to the ship. And that will, because if I do 4, that's worse. That's categorically worse than paying the 4 cred, because then they have to spend downtime actions to repair, and that's the same amount of cred. So let's say 2 damage to the ship. There's 2 damage to the ship, and there's no resist on it. Or no, we're gonna go with refuse to pay or fight. They take the ship. They impound it. It's landlocked. So then the job becomes, how do they steal their ship back? Okay, I like that. That's a good option. So they can pay the 4 and make the promise that they're not going to mess with the Stellar Flames agenda anymore. They can refuse, and then the church takes the ship, impounds it, and then they have to figure out how to get it back. And maybe that's what leads to different jobs down the line. Like, it can be, oh, we need to get it back right now. Okay, this is a little job we're doing right now. Or does that just become the job? I don't know. Because, like, thinking about how an actual job to get this back is, they've got some zealots there. Battle Sister Diana would show up with some zealots just as extra muscle to apply pressure, because she can't be everywhere at once. And, like, they wouldn't have, like, a battalion of dudes, but she would show up with a few crazies. So I think that would lead to the next job. So what happens if they fight? So she is exosuited and unstoppable. I'm thinking she's like in this huge armature that she's sort of dangling from in the front. And like she looks exposed, but she's got an artifact, a light shield, that will stop incoming damage. So I think fighting would involve dealing with the, let's say, 4 zealots. Plus making Diana vulnerable. And that would be a, let's make that a 4 o'clock, something simple. And I think once they make her vulnerable, she will try to retreat. So that'll call it off. But like, this would be like, if they want to fight, they are not in a good spot to fight. They are in a very bad spot to fight. My assumption is that they will pay the money. But I will let them decide what they want to do. I mean, I'd pay the money. I'd argue for paying the money. But this is their choice. So if they pay it, problem goes away. If they fight, it's a tricky fight and they're not in a good spot for it, but they could do it. And if they refuse to pay or fight, so that would lead to some interesting situation. So if they refuse to pay or fight, the zealots occupy the ship, and it becomes landlocked. So they basically have to do a job to get their own ship back. I think this would exempt them from upkeep after the job, because they aren't on the ship. The ship's not actually even doing anything. So I think that'd be minor compensation for failing. So I should actually just start thinking about the job. But I think mechanically, outside of the job, what that's going to mean is they're going to be limited about what they can do for downtime actions. Like, they will have to go to a flop house or something and figure stuff out. So I need to figure out where the payoff is, so I can use that setting to sort of inform what that job would look like. So they are in Holt. Sonhandra's kind of a shithole. But let's see. So they're going to be... Where's the payoff? That's going to be in Ugar, the capital. Sonhandra. No, it doesn't work. So that's where they'll be when they get confronted by Diana. Yeah, I think that works. Okay. There's some interesting stuff on Sonhandra. Some interesting characters they might come into contact with as once they're in free play, that we can make use of. So I got a few jobs to potentially pitch as options. So the first is get the ship back. And that'll involve removing the landlock and clearing out the zealots and Diana. So they got ways they can do this. My assumption is Diana will just be on the ship. Diana and the zealots will be on the ship, and the landlock will be done from the Port Authority. So that'll just be to remove the landlock, the zealots, and Diana, and get their ship back. And then TFO. So I want, if they aren't under this constraint, if they pay off the Stellar Flame, or if they fight them off, they'll do their downtime as normal. Although before I get too far into this, I want to think about downtime, because one thing that Chris mentioned he wanted to do with PAX is that big loan he took out, he wanted to do some gambling with that. And I wasn't certain of how to handle that. So, like, he's going to indulge his vice, and that's going to be, he's going to go gambling and just going on a total bender with all that cash. So, he's probably going to use both his downtime actions on this. And I'm thinking, the way to handle it is, he's going to place a bet. One, two, or three credits. And then he rolls a d6, and I'll have one of the other players roll a d6. And so long as he beats the other player, or no, I'll have him do 2d6. Or actually, is that worse odds? I think that might be worse odds. Oh. Okay, so when you indulge a vice, you roll a d6. His indulge a vice d6 will be his gambling result, because he's going to lose as much stress depending on how well he does. He does really badly, he's not going to lose very much stress. So this is going to be a win big or win lose. Win big or lose big. And then another player will roll a d6, and if he beats that other player, then he will double his bet, otherwise he loses his money. If it's less than Pax's vice roll, he wins. Otherwise, he loses. House always wins, buddy. The odds are stacked against you. And I think after downtime, the creditors are going to expect a payment. And if he doesn't, we will figure out what bad things happen to him for the next session. Because I want that to be a slower burn. Like, paying off a loan shark, that's not like a short-term adventure or something. But yeah, he took out a big loan. It was like 6? Yeah. That's going to take him a while to pay back, unless he does really well here with his little margin loan. Okay. So that'll be for the downtime. I'm curious how... I'm not going to spend too much time thinking about the long-term projects for Tyrion and Lyndon, just because I think everybody's going to be indulging vices the whole fucking time. Because they're all almost maxed out on stress. So, yeah. I think Okay, so the jobs we've got the landlock ship full of zealots thing figured out. But if they resolve that situation, then what do we do? I think there's going to be... There was a job from the Maelstrom that I had come up with in a previous session. And it was... What was it? The deep space kidnapping thing. And that's simple enough. And again, I'm not going to plan the jobs now, just because I don't think we're going to get that far. Because they're going to want to negotiate and other stuff. I think with the Maelstrom job, let's say they could, instead of, they could take part of their, they could take their payment in ship upgrades. Or take part of the payment in ship upgrades. So it'd be like an 8 credit job. They could get 4 plus an upgrade. Eight would become 4 plus. Now, I'm thinking after last time, they're probably going to want particle cannons or some sort of weapon beyond a grappling hook. I think if they take this Maelstrom job, they'll be like, yeah, grappling hook's fucking perfect for, like, chasing down a ship and something like that. But so who else could we do a job? I want to have one other option at the ready. Like if they say, oh, we want to go after this one specific faction and get a job from them. Excuse me. I think I'll just play that by ear. If they want to do that, they can do that. I want to have a different option, though. Something very different, like, because that's in their wheelhouse, but they seem to like that last mission that wasn't in their wheelhouse, so maybe they want another option. Let's say there's a planet in Iota that I can't remember the name of. I should look that up so that I have that written down. So this would be, the idea I had was they're going to be finding a... Okay, so for the Maelstrom job, they're going to be in... Where would that be? Let's do that in Rin, because they're going to be going to Rin for... No, I think let's go to Iota either way. So Iota... That would be where the guy is, if they go with the Maelstrom job. The other one would also be in Iota. So this is going to be for the Mendicants. And this would be, I'd say this would be a contact for Emmett. Let's see, what contact would that? That would probably be his Lenine. Or Linny. Linny, I guess. Jeez. It's a weird combination of vowels there. The Mendicants are looking for one of their healers who's gone missing. So this would be a chance to do some tracking. I haven't figured out what that job would look like, but it would involve looking at some clues and doing a little detective work. so I will specifically pitch that job as being detective work. Just in the interest of, you know, not trying to push them in one direction or the other, I'll say this one's also worth 8 cred. I felt like the way I priced out the previous jobs, I wrote down 8. I thought it was 10. I thought it was 10. Did I just say that in 10 in session, and then I may need to go back and check the tapes. That's frustrating. I'll need to confirm how much that was. But I don't want to push them towards one job or another with the payoff. Like, if they have a way to influence things. So maybe I should start doing that. Maybe I should have a way, just pre-plan, if they negotiate for more and they manage to pull that off, what would that look like? So for the Maelstrom job, that's 4 plus an upgrade, because that's 10 credit worth there, because upgrades are worth 6. So what would the Mendicants offer? Let's say or 6 plus a sacred solve. And I wouldn't put it in, I wouldn't tell them exactly what it would mechanically do, but it would let them make a recovery roll without a downtime action. Is that worth 2 credits? I don't know if that's worth 2 credits. Maybe it's when they make a recovery roll, they just completely fill the clock. Yeah, the recovery roll will automatically fill the clock if they use that, if that's what they want. I think that's probably worth more than 2 credits. Having that certainty that I can actually just take some damage here and not have to worry about it possibly keeping me fucked up in the next job. Like, that sucks. So having that option available is interesting. This definitely wouldn't be something they'd be able to get their hands on regularly if they like, ooh, this is the stuff, I like this, I want more. Sorry, buddy. You gotta work on that with a long-term project. But yeah, that'd be a hook for a long-term project for Emmett, which I really like. So yeah, that was another thing I wanted to think of, is like, if I was going to suggest a long-term project to another player, I think Emmett is the one that needs one more than anybody else, because Pax has his own sort of thing that he's doing with his downtime, this loan sharking and gambling thing, and then getting out of the trouble that this will inevitably get him into. That doesn't really need a long-term project, though he could make it into a long-term project of, come to an agreement with my creditors. But yeah, Emmett needs a long-term project, I think. So that would be a good hook for him to do something like that. So I don't know. So I think that's the next session lined up. There's going to be some... Ooh, I need to figure out heat. What's the heat? Heat, I think... will have to be... I think it's just 2. Like, they were off in the middle of nowhere, but when spaceships start shooting at each other, people notice. They also messed with that, that communication satellite. But this is in Holt, so do they even care? Probably not. So I will just do this here. Let's put that right in. And reset their gambits for them. Or should I? That might come up during the entanglement. No, they're going to stay at 0. They get their gambits back at the beginning of a new job. I'm not sure if that's true or not. Okay, checking the rulebook is always important because I verified that you do not get the gambits back until the beginning of the job. That's when they refresh. But I also missed the little thing where you don't get a gambit for every risky roll. You only get gambits for risky rolls where you rolled a 6 or a crit. So they might have gotten a few extra gambits on that last one, and I will need to clarify that. So yeah, they will be at 0 gambits for the their little entanglement. And I need to clarify that. El Mucho. So I think that's a good selection of stuff. If they go way off the deep end during their free play looking for a new job, that's fine. I'll wing it, but I like to have some good ideas in place, and I can always just reskin one of these ideas I have if need be, because they're not like super well defined as it is. So yeah, that is our next session. Wish me luck.